And I am going to turn my camera off, and then I will be just
Did you want to admit people, Beth?
yes, I will admit people now that the camera's on. And we're good to go.
So we're just going to wait a couple minutes for some other people to come in here. Hey everybody, so we're just going to be waiting a couple minutes here, just for everybody to get situated.
Start the video.
Okay, we're all good, Dale.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How do I get rid of this? It says the meeting is being live streamed. Do I just click on got it?
Yeah, just press OK.
Okay, there.
Okay, so we'll just get started now. So hi everybody, my name is Alia Boubard and I'm the assistant curator here at the Bill Reid Gallery. I wanted to start off by first acknowledging that the Bill Reid Gallery is located on the unceded and ancestral territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples, and we're so grateful that we're able to do our work on these beautiful territories. So welcome all today to this artist talk with Dale Marie Campbell. For those who may not know, Dale is a Tahltan and Tlingit artist from the Wolf Clan. She's a multidisciplinary artist working in everything from carving to jewelry making. Dale's work has been exhibited in work in museums and art shows since the 70s, has nearly 50 years of experience working as a carver. Dale was one of the 6 artists featured in the collaborative exhibition Hands of Knowledge, which ran from May 16th to September 26th, 2021 at the Bill Reid Gallery, and is currently on exhibition at the Museum of Northern BC in Prince Rupert until May 28th of this year. So today we'll have the chance to talk with Dale, and as we'll listen as she talks about her work and her journey as an artist. And we'll also be able to look at a slideshow of various highlights of pictures throughout Dale's career and get to hear her speak about her practice. So this talk runs until about 4. We might run a little bit over, but as we're talking, feel free to put your questions into the chat if you do have them, and we'll leave some time at the end so Dale can respond. There's also a live transcript, but some of the words may not be entirely accurate. So you can rely on it. But of course, again, some of the words aren't exact. So I guess I will now pass it along to Dale if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My full name's Dale Marie Campbell, and I was given my traditional Tahltan name by my great-grandmother, Emma Brown, who lived to be 106 years old. But she gave all of her grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren their traditional name. And my name means Tahltan mother. So I started in 1972, and how that happened, carving, and how that happened was Dempsey Bob, he said to me, you know, Frida Deasing is going to be putting on classes and teaching like West Coast design for starters. And he said, because he knew I was always really creative and I love making things. I've done just about everything I could think of doing, like, well, sewing and macrame, pottery, you name it, beading. And I just love creating with my hands. And so he knew that. And so he said, why don't you come down and try the classes? And at the time, there was a store called the Lahane Art Store. And the owners there, they donated the back room so Frida could go in and put on some classes. So then, when I started, the other students were Donnie Yeoman, he was one of the other artists, Wayne Peterson, Glenn Wood, and Dempsey Bob. And so it was amazing. Like, when I tried it, I went, oh my God, like, because when I went to high school, girls were not allowed to take metalwork or woodwork or drafting. We had to take sewing and cooking, but I mean, I already knew how to do all that. So when I went to the free school, it was like, this is it. Like, this is my drafting, you know, and the metalwork and woodwork, and then to meet Frida and see how much she loved the artwork, and she was really inspiring right off the bat. So what happened was I got my introduction there to basic design, and you know, the usual thing, you gotta sit and draw your ovoid, your, you know, U shapes and stuff, and then learn how to put a design together. But as well, at the same time, we were being taught how to make our own knives, our own tools. So it was like learning two different things at once. I was like, wow, this is so exciting. And I just loved it right off the bat. So what happened was we did that for a while, and then Dempsey Bob and Glenn Wood said that they were going to go take classes up in Kasan. And so Dempsey said, you should come with us, Dale. And I said, well, I can. I'm 17 and I'm still in high school, right? So I didn't end up going, but he said, you know what? He says, whatever I learn up there, when I come back, I'm going to teach you everything that I've learned. And I said, oh, that'd be great, you know? So I was very fortunate to work with Dempsey Bob for 3 years on a one-on-one basis. That just gave me, you know, amazing knowledge. And it was so wonderful. I always feel grateful towards Dempsey for doing that, teaching me, guiding me. But anyways, it was like, Frida really inspired me a lot, because I can remember walking past the totem pole that her and Josiah Tate had carved. And like Josiah was like in his late 70s, she was in her early 70s, and here they are still carving totem poles, right? And I remember walking past this one that it's at a park beside the library here. And I looked up and I went, oh my God, like, one day I want to carve a totem pole. Like, yeah, right? So that was my big dream for sure. And it did, like at the same time as me learning about art, I wanted to go back to Telegraph Creek. That's where both my parents were raised, born and raised. And I always heard the stories about, you know, what went on when they were younger, when they were kids, and about the fishing and hunting and everything. And so I just thought, you know what, I want to go and experience it. So that's what I did. My boyfriend and I went up there, and we lived in a tent frame. There was no running water, no electricity or anything up there then. And the entertainment was, you go visit people. You go visit people, and if you're lucky, they're going to tell you stories about their lives and the history about our people. And I mean, a lot of times we had to chop wood and pack water before my Uncle Willie would even tell us a story. So it was like, you know, you just didn't get the knowledge for nothing. You had to work for it. And I went, wow, like, holy. And so by getting to learn about the stories, the traditions, like my Uncle Willie, he mushed the mail between Telegraph Creek and Atlin. He was one of the wildest cowboys up there because he broke the wildest horses. Nobody else wanted to break. And I got to meet my grandmother on my dad's side, Marie Campbell. We spent almost every day with her. And we ended up going there every summer for 7 years. So because we just loved it up there. People were amazing. My people were amazing. Such a sense of humor everybody had, and the knowledge. So what happened was I went up there and I fished on the river. I had my own fishing spot on the Stikine River, and I had a big boom with a net on it, and we would set the net the night before and go in the morning and catch 50 sockeye, like just that overnight. And then we would set it again and get another 50. And because my boyfriend was non-native, he couldn't catch the salmon. So I ended up having to clean and gut all those salmon. It was a good thing that my first job was like working in the cannery in the fish plant, right? So that came in handy right there. But the thing I value the most was to learn about the life story. Like my grandma Una, she was an incredible woman. She had 12 kids. Grandpa was always out on the hunt in the summer, and winter he was out trapping, and she did things like bake tons of loaves of bread for mining camps just to make money to help raise her family. And all the things that she went through in her life. She was a midwife, a natural midwife. The women, the hippies that ended up moving up in the Telegraph Creek area, like when the Vietnam War was happening, well, they would bring all their wives up to have Grandma Una deliver the baby. And my Grandma Una, she was incredibly strong, but she was also like a psychic, like she could tell the future, and she knew when somebody in the family was going to have a baby. And I met my grandma Emma. She was like a medicine woman. She knew every herb up there. If you ever got sick or needed some sort of healing, she would know exactly what you should take and all that. And the thing is that I came to realize that how connected my people were to the land and to the animals, to the birds, even the bugs. Like elders would predict what the winter was going to be like because there were so many of these certain bugs, or it was just like they were so connected to nature. And I think that's something that a lot of us really have lost. I mean, when you think about it, you know, they believed that they could communicate with animals and birds. And they did. Because my mom told me, she said, I remember this story when I was a little girl. She said, you know what, Dale? when my dad, when he died, because my grandpa, he died of red measles. It was like a plague going around or whatever up there. But anyways, he died when he was in his 30s. And my mom said that her and her brother, when they were out hunting for the family, this owl came by, and the owl talked to them. And I said, Mom, what are you talking about? How can a bird talk to you? She goes, well, I don't know if it was actually talking to me, but they both got the message, you know, that your father is going to go, he's going to die. So, I mean, we've definitely lost that connection, right? It's just like amazing. So anyways, through the learning about the stories and traditions of my people, that's how I design my pieces, my work. I select whatever story I want to portray with my wood or whatever I'm making or carving. And so that's how I get my ideas for each piece. And a lot of times I get my ideas when I'm out for a walk, like I'm out walking in the bush or just out for a walk down by the ocean, and all these ideas will start coming. And so I basically design my pieces right in my head. I know a lot of artists do that as well. Yeah, and so I'll draw it out and then figure out my design looking forward and sideways. And basically, by the time I get to the wood, I know exactly what I'm going to do, and I got the drawing to go by. Yeah. So anyways.
Yeah, Dale, I guess this is a good point where we can start the slideshow and you can talk.
Yeah, sure. Okay. There's a picture here of my grandma Una.
Oh, sorry, just one second. I haven't started it yet. I'll let you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, this is a picture of my grandma Una. She's right kind of on the side there, and my uncles and my aunts are there, and there I am on the right side of my screen, I can see. But I'm only 17 there, like, and then I have lots of little cousins there, and grandma lived in a little log home there, and what an amazing place. I'll never forget the first time I woke up and I went to go to the outhouse because there's no running water in the toilets, right? And it was really early in the morning and the sun was just coming up, and there's like another side of the the reds, and like a rolling hill, and I saw this horse on the other side, and it was like grazing on grass or whatever, and I just went, oh my God, this is just amazing, right? Yeah. So I still love that place. Like we still go up every summer, and I do fishing, and I just love it. Learn how to go out moose hunting as well, and bear hunting, and how to set snares, how to skin a rabbit. So all that stuff I got to actually experience it. So that was just wonderful. Yeah. So anyways, so in Rupert, we had a carving shed, and that's where all the carvers would go down. And we had, oh, so beautiful. There was an area for totem poles. There was the area, few rooms here and there if you wanted to take a room for whatever carvings you wanted to do, and there was a lot of carvers around, and I was very fortunate to be able to work there, and it was really something to have a meeting place like that. We don't have that anymore because well, the museum took it over, and now you can rent it if you need the space, but anyway, so this is a picture here that Virginia Kimmett took of me working in the carving shed. It's pretty, she's a professional photographer, but she said, can I take a picture of you, Dale, carving? I said, sure, go ahead. So this is the picture here. And like I was saying, like my dream was to carve a totem So my first totem I carved by myself. It was so funny. Like I thought, you know what? I got the log and I want to go down and get it all started, but I didn't want to have anybody else around because I know I was going to be struggling with that chainsaw just to get it started and whatnot. And because everybody always teased each other at the carving shed, it was like, I don't want to hear anything from anybody else. So it's like, I'm just going to go down there by myself. And I got the chainsaw started and I got it all drawn out and roughed it out. And I ended up carving that pole by myself. So the next picture shows the totem pole that I carved. And this was in 1982, it was. So the museum commissioned me to carve this pole, which was really exciting. Yeah, to finally see that, you know, that little dream that I had of mine to come true. It was amazing. And then we were asked to do a learning teaching totem pole. And so this is a picture of it in front of the carving shed. My part of my work was the bottom third, and my brother's was the next third. And then the top third was done by Alvin Atkins and a few other artists that kind of got together to finish that off. And there was quite a, how can I put this? There were a lot of negative comments about my brother and I working on a Haida pole, for one thing. And some people were really against it, that fact. And I don't know if it was because it was carved by a woman also, but I don't know, and I really don't care. But what they did was they went and they chopped parts of the pole off on the bottom. It was all on my part, like the stick was chopped off, the face on the bottom was all chopped off, and part of the mouth and the teeth were all gone. And so they took the pole down and put it inside the shed. And well, what happened?
I think I clicked on the wrong stuff.
What happened was when they put it in the shed, somebody went in there
So dumb.
and dumped paint all over it.
Okay.
And then
What?
they lit the shed on fire in order to burn the pole. But for some reason, when the fire hit the roof fell on the pole. And the pole didn't even get touched by the fire. So somebody was looking after her pole as well. So what we were left with was a totally damaged totem pole. It was chopped up, there was paint on it, et cetera, and then I was asked by the museum if I could repair it. And at the time I just thought, what? Like, how the heck am I going to do that? I don't know what to do. But my brother, Terrence Campbell, who was living in Vancouver at the time, was working with Roy Waterman, who worked for the museums in Vancouver. And him and my brother actually repaired some of the Haida old poles that were all crumbling. They basically rebuilt them with fiberglass and refinished them and everything. I got a hold of him and I told him what was going on in Dale. He says, what you have to do is you have to section off the areas that were chopped off, and you need to inlay a piece of wood, like glued in, and recarve that area. And I said, what? I've never done anything like this before. He says, you can do it. He said, just, you know, I'm going to send you instructions and you can do it. So I'm going, oh, okay. Well, I'm going to try it, you know, and so that's what I did. And like, if you go look at the pole right now, you can see where the areas of where the wood was inlaid and recarved and stuff. And then had to take all the paint that was dumped on it too. And so that poor pole went through an awful lot. But you know what? That pole we worked on for over a year. And when the day of the pole raising came, it was unbelievably exciting because it was like, oh man, first big pole, 30 feet tall. And so we got to do the traditional raising, like they did it traditionally, and the artists had to dance around the pole and stuff. And here I was with my ads going around, dancing around the pole, and it was a feeling of euphoria. It was like, wow. And I thought about it, and what was that feeling about? And I came to realize that the feeling was because I was being a part of something that had been done for hundreds of years before my time. And here I am doing that tradition, pole raising. And that's what that feeling was. It was just totally amazing. Yeah. Lots of lessons to learn from that one. So anyways, around 1985, I got asked if I would be interested in being a national Native role model. That was a federal program that the government was setting up. And there were 6 of us that did the program. And when I first got asked, I thought, geez, this sounds really like scary, kind of like I have to travel across Canada and go to remote reserves and big cities and talk to kids and the youth, like high school students. And then also what I did too was I went into, say, a res, and I'd be doing like talks at the dinners, after the dinners, and it was really amazing. At first, I really didn't know if I could do it. But what happened was my very first one was in Kamloops, and they had me set up to be doing a talk with the high school students, like grade 8 to 12. And my driver was late getting me there. So you can imagine, I'm really super nervous about doing this in the first place, right? I don't even know if I can do it. So I walk into the gymnasium, and there's like, it's full of high school students, and they've been waiting. So probably not too happy. So they introduced me, and I got up on the podium or whatever and started talking. But it was amazing. Once I started talking, one thing led into the other. What I was talking about, my artwork, my karate training, because I did karate training for 30 years. And anyways, it was over. Before I knew it, it was over, and I went, wow, geez, maybe I could do this after all, because what they told me was they were hoping that each person would be able to go and talk to young kids, about our own personal experiences, and share it with them and do little workshops with them, because like I was a carver and a karateka, and the others were actors and actresses, and they were just so amazing. So I got to work with a lot of them, and it was so much fun, incredible fun. And I traveled across Canada as far east as Sarnia, Ontario. I did schools there. As far north as the Paw, Manitoba. Like I flew over all those Manitoba lakes, like wow, like in a little plane. And sometimes it would take me, I'd have to fly across Canada or close to the place, take another plane, and then a boat, and then another boat, and then a car, just to get to one place. And I never knew who was going to meet me. All I'd see is a sign saying Dale Campbell on it. And then I go, oh, okay, that's the person there. But I had unbelievable experiences doing this. It was like one time I got dropped off in the middle of nowhere in the Tulies, and it was like a dirt airport. And here I am sitting on my suitcase, and I'm going, oh my God, I'm in the middle of the bush and where is the person? Like, holy, that was kind of scary. And then another time, it was in Saskatchewan. This guy picked me up at the airport, which was fine. But they were having a snowstorm, and we actually got lost. He didn't even know where he was going. Oh my God, that was really scary. Yeah. But the thing is like I did my workshops on my artwork, and I do another workshop on karate. So what I do is the artwork, I explain a lot of things about designing and stuff, and then how I carve masks. So I get the kids to carve like an ivory bar of soap, with little plastic utensils. And then for the karate, I did karate class. And one of them because this was all about to help the kids and help them to do some self-improvement and whatnot. I talked a lot about things like, when you walk in a room and you see a person walk in like this, and they're all round shouldered, their heads hanging, and right away you think like, oh, geez, that person doesn't look very happy, and they're not feeling very good. And I'd say to them, I'd say, so what do you think about this person? If they walked in like this, standing like this, their shoulders back, their head up, like there's a huge difference that you see, right? And the kids go, yeah. And I don't know, it just kind of gave them something to think about, right? And then I teach them the karate basics and stuff, and they just love that. Oh my God, they just love that. But for me, it was always easy to see the children that you could tell that there was things not going very well for them, because a lot of them, you see them walk in and they are like that, round shouldered and heads hanging. You can just see it. So I did that, and I loved it all. They had posters of us all distributed across Canada as well. So anyways, we ended up carving a 30-foot, my brother and I, on spec, which means that we didn't have an order. We just said, let's do a 30-foot totem pole together. Okay, and got the log, and it took us 3 years to do it because my brother was a longshoreman, and he did that work, and then he'd come back and the carving shed and work on it. And I worked on it all the time as much as I could. And then when we're getting close to the end of it, I just thought to myself, what are we going to do with this pole? We don't have a fire. So in those days, we didn't have computers. It's 1990. And so what I did was I went to the library and got different addresses of embassies from all over the world, the States, Germany, Japan, you name it. I sent them letters asking them if they'd be interested in our pole. But it was like, it was either, oh, we don't have the space, or we don't have the money, or whatever. And then what happened was a director from the Vancouver Museum, Rodney Ward, his name is, remembered that letter when he heard that the Prime Minister Mulroney was looking for a totem pole, a big totem pole, to give to the people of Hong Kong as a gift of enduring friendship. These were the days when free trade was, going to start happening and stuff. So they decided they were going to have a Canada Festival Days in Hong Kong in 1991. And so they selected our totem pole out of 5 totem poles that were available. And so then they phoned me and asked me if we would be into going to Hong Kong and carving another 8-foot totem pole. So, and carve it in different areas of Hong Kong so people could come and watch us carve and work. So, and that too, it was like when I got asked, it was like, I don't know if I want to do this. This is like on the other side of the world. Like, oh my God, scary. this is a girl that didn't like crowded restaurants or, you know, it was, and it was like amazing because there you go into a restaurant, there's so many people that all you hear is their language and the TV's going, and there's people everywhere. So it was like a real culture shock for us. It was like walking into a hot sauna and there was people everywhere. They were shoving each other into the underground tram or whatever you want to call it. Even pushing nuns, couldn't believe that. And we had to find our way to the different areas that we had to go to. And it was quite an adventure for sure. And so what happened was we got to meet a lot of the people that lived there and the Canadians that were living there working for different embassies and stuff like that. So we, you know, got wined and dined by multi-billionaires, and they were so kind to us. They'd take us to their favorite restaurants. And we learned about a lot of their traditions, like before they eat their fish, their food, they select the fish in a tank, and then they dump alcohol in it so that the fish doesn't suffer. Like, what? I never heard of this before. And then they really believe in feng shui, right? It's kind of like native superstition, very superstitious there. Yeah. So this is a picture of us working in the Tahltan Mall. This mall, it had about 10 layers, and there was a big hole in the center of it, so you could actually look down and see each layer of the mall. And they said to us that 10,000 people walk through that mall every day just to get to where they live. It was called the Tahltan Mall. And when we got there, in those days we had Walkmans. I thought, oh my God, it's so noisy here. I'm gonna put my Walkman on and, you know, play my music, drown it out, but no, that didn't work. It was just unbelievable, the noise. So you see 3 of us there, and that's my brother, Terrence Campbell. And the other person beside him is Jessica Wood, and she's my goddaughter. She was only 15 at the time, but her mom, who is my best friend, I asked her, I said, would you consider it if Jessica came with us? Because we need somebody to be talking to the public while we work, because it's really hard to talk and then keep doing your work. So her mom agreed and she came with us, and she was great company for me, and a great learning experience for her. But yeah, first of all, they had us roughing out our pole at a steel mill outside. And then they moved us into the parkade underneath the museum for more roughing out. And then finally they moved us up into the museum. And then they put us out at the Tahltan Mall. And then from there, it was finished at a big park. And so we met so many people there. It was absolutely incredible. We made friends there that came to see us almost every day and bring us ginger ale and, you know, snacks and stuff like that. And they took pictures, and and we got to see the Royal Canadian Ballet perform, and all kinds of Canadian entertainers. But my brother and I were there to represent First Nations from Canada. And it was, we were so lucky. It was like, pinch me, wake me up. Is this a dream or what? You know, just incredible. But, you know, oh, and here's the opening. They had a official opening where Prime Minister Mulroney came and his wife. And this is him and the governor of Hong Kong, and my brother and I and Jessica witnessing the signing of the opening for it. But anyways, the totem pole that they were going to raise, that was given to the people of Hong Kong, when we told them that it's bad luck, once you put a totem pole standing up, you're never to put it down unless that's it for the pole. Well, oh my God, it was like their feng shui just kicked in right away. So they got the pole up on a barge. They had to have it standing up on the barge. So you can just see this totem pole coming across the waterway, on this barge, and then we were there for when they were going to take it off the barge and put it on this big cement block and secure it so it wouldn't blow over. Well, they just started to drop the pole onto the cement when this big storm whipped up. And it was like, holy, the wind started blowing and it got really dark. And while they were trying to drop it onto the cement, the wind hit it so hard, it moved and knocked one of the workers right off balance. He fell sideways or whatever. And right then and there, it was like, stop it, stop everything. And they just totally freaked out, like, oh my God, this is bad luck, My brother and I were just going, oh my God, and we thought it was so funny because they were just so excited about it, right? So anyway, that's quite a story. So anyways, so we worked on our pole, and this is a picture of it. It's our family crest pole with the wolf and the raven on the belly. So it took us the 5 weeks to carve that pole, because I mean, when we got the log, it still had the bark on it, like I said, and so it was a lot of work. But we did it, and a lot of times we were working till in the evening after supper, and right up till the day before the pole raising, the big pole raising, and so this is it here. And the button blanket that I have on, I designed myself. And my girlfriend said it's bad luck to sew on your own button blanket, so she sewed it, and it's the 2 wolves howling at the moon in celebration of the pole raising and of the event. So, and this is the day of the pole raising, was July the 1st in Kowloon Park, and this is like for that week, the dance group came over, and so they were there for a week with us. It was amazing. It was so hot too. Like, we all have our wool button blankets on, and it was like 100 degrees and super sweaty, right? So that's why my mom looks, oh my God, I'm so hot. Poor mom. She wouldn't come over. She kept saying, no, I'm not going to go over. That's too far away from home. And finally, I talked her into coming over, and boy, was she happy she came. It was just like, she'd never seen anything like that ever in her entire life. Yeah, so we were very, very fortunate. So anyways, we had a traditional pole raising, and the only thing is that we couldn't do the, bringing it up slowly, because they were so superstitious that the pole had to stay up, so it was already up. And then they just kind of unveiled it, and this is a picture of us doing our traditional dance with our tools around the totem pole. So there it is, 30-footer. Like, if we would have, waited on somebody asking us to do a totem pole, this never would have happened. It was the reason is because, we did it on spec, and then worried about finding a buyer for it later. And I mean, what a thing to happen, right? To be able to go and do this and have all the experience of being in Hong Kong and meeting all the people and stuff. And one of the things that I wanted to mention was, we were like really well taken care of there. I'm sure we had people always watching what we were doing, even on our days off and stuff, because they always kind of seemed to know, right? But we were there as guests, so they always took really good care of us. And we even had a sugar daddy, because we got paid to go there, and we had a per diem. And so every week we had to go see our sugar daddy for our checks and stuff like that, right? And But anyways, we got asked if we would like to be on a radio talk show there in Hong Kong, just to talk about the poll and what we were doing there and stuff. And we were warned before we got on. Now, don't you talk about anything political. We don't want to hear anything political come out, you know. So if you don't mind, please do that. So then the guy that was interviewing us asked, he goes, so could you explain what's going on with the Kanawake, Mohawk, Native people in Canada? And I looked at him and I thought to myself, you know what? I cannot sit here and tell them a story that is not true. And all I said to him was, well, you know what? The Native people in Canada are just so tired of being told what to do on their land that they are standing up for their human rights, and they're standing up to the government. That's what it's all about. They're claiming their land. So I mean, and that's all I said. And but I never heard anything negative about me doing that. But you know, it's just something I just had to do, right? Yeah, it was just amazing. Yeah, and so after that, oh, and by going there, like I met the head guy, CEO for Canadian Airlines, because they would have these social gatherings for all the people that were participating in the different events and stuff. And I met the guy, and I said to him, I said, you know what? We've always wanted to go to Thailand. And he says, oh, well, why don't you give me a call on Monday and I'll see what I can do. How many of you? I said, there's a group of 8. He goes, oh, okay, I'll arrange it all for you guys. You can go to Thailand. So we got to go to Thailand for like a little holiday, a short little holiday there, because we were done after the poll went up. That was it. It was done. Yeah, it's quite an experience to be able to travel like that. It's great. So anyways, what happened was, well, I was dealing with galleries, you know, here and there and stuff, doing private orders. And then I thought, you know what, it would be really good exposure for me to start going to shows in the States, because that's where a lot of the collectors are. They're from the States. So I started going to the Heard Museum show that they have there at the Heard Museum. And I went there for 3 years. My brother lived there at the time, so it was kind of like a holiday as well. So I got to meet a lot of people down there as well. And I always put my pieces in for the contest that they had, and won quite a few first prizes and second prizes, honorable mentions. And then one of the ladies that I met there said she was going to be switching over to the Santa Fe Indian market. And she said, Dale, put your name in, like, I'm sure you're going to get in, right? And I thought, oh, okay. And then after my 3rd year in Phoenix, I decided that I was going to apply for this show. So I did, and I got in, which was really, really great, because of the fact that it was only by 2012 that Santa Fe Indian Market, which is actually 100 years old today, they didn't allow Canadian artists in. So in 2012, they started allowing Canadian artists in. And I started going there with my brother, and we were 2 out of 15 Canadian artists that were actually allowed in each year. And I went there for 4 years, 4 consecutive years. So quite an honor to be accepted, because it's a juried art show. And you have to send pictures of your work and your history, everything, your bios, your CV, and so if they like your work, then you are accepted for the show. And then you have to pay like $650 for your table. And, you know, it's not cheap to go there. Sometimes it costs $2,000 for hotel, flight. And basically what I'd be doing is working my butt off the year before the show so I could have pieces for the show. And then, so for each year I did that. And it's just like, I'm taking my pieces on my holidays up to Telegraph Creek, you know, and I'm sitting there sanding and painting, and wherever we went on holidays, I'd have my work with me, and I'd be working right up till the day before I fly out to the Santa Fe Indian Market, right? 1,000 juried artists participate in this show, and tens of thousands of people fly in for this show, and they're collectors, museum people, you know, gallery people from all over the world, and they're looking for good artwork. So anyways, when I, the first year, this picture here is the first year that I put 3 pieces in, and I didn't hear anything. Like, they have it on a Friday, and by Saturday they tell you if you won anything. And I just thought, oh, you know, I guess I didn't win anything, but you know, that's okay. And then I went to pick up my pieces, and the guy that met me at the door, he took me in, and he walked me to the table where my pieces were. And I looked at it, and I saw 2 first place ribbons and a second place ribbon. And I went, oh my God, you mean I won a ribbon? He goes, you didn't win 1, you won 3 ribbons. He goes to me, I went, oh my God, I was just ecstatic, right? I got so excited and happy. I grabbed the guy and I gave him a big hug. He goes, that's why I do this job. He goes, it was really funny. But that was amazing to win so many awards. And I was so grateful and so happy. I mean, you don't win money or anything, but it's, you get your name in their magazine. All the people that win ribbons and that, their name gets put in this magazine, and I'm sure it goes into the archive in Santa Fe, because I know in Phoenix, the ribbons I won there went into the archives at the museum there. So it's kind of neat that you get to leave your print there. You know what I mean? Like, you know, years from now, people might come across and say, oh, Dale Campbell was here, kind of thing. The carver, who knows, right? And this is, when we did go there, this article, they had in one of the main magazines that was distributed in every gift shop, gallery, hotel, and it says, Canadians making a mark at the market. So there's a little bracelet there, it's titled Salmon, that I did. And so they did a little write-up, and I was really excited about that. What an honor, right? And so they were trying to get people to know that the Canadian artists were here, and you could see their work at whatever booth or whatever. And I kind of feel like by doing these shows, I was like a trailbreaker. And in the fact that it's like here I am going down to these shows, and I'm talking to people, so many people, and I'm explaining my piece of artwork, the story, telling them the story about it. And this is how I designed this from this story. And it was just amazing that they're so hungry to learn about our style of artwork. And we started getting our regular people that came by and came to see us each year to see what we had, and really exciting. I met so many different people from all over the world, and that's something that wouldn't happen if you were in a show in Prince Rupert, like, because of all the people that go there for this. It's the biggest show in the world, 1,000 juried artists, and so exciting. The energy there is just like so high, so happening. People are excited and happy to be there. Really, really good energy. I'd love to go back again, maybe as I don't know, tourist. I'm too busy now to go down. And this year is their 100th anniversary year, but I'm too busy to go down. my brother's going. So here's a picture of our booth. This is our first booth. So I got a banner made up with all pictures of my pieces. And then there are my pieces in front of us. And then my brother does amazing jewelry. And that's his little area there. Yeah. So I'm so fortunate to have a brother like him. I always say we're like partners in crime. We do totem poles together always. I only did that one by myself. And whatever totem pole we do it together. So I got first place for this paddle here that I'm holding up. So that was really exciting. And it's so hot there. It's like, it goes up to 95 degrees sometimes. Incredibly hot. So I won the BC Aboriginal Achievements Award. And I was really, really excited about that. Got to go to Vancouver and so I don't know if anybody has any questions, but I just was really excited about doing this talk today and happy that I have. And through all my work and stuff, it's like I've never ever sacrificed the quality of my work for quantity. I always swore that from the very beginning that I was never gonna, just do a half, done job or whatever. That it's about the quality of your work. You can knock out 10 pieces that are kind of half done, but what's the object of you doing your artwork? What is it? It's to put out quality work. So the best part of my pieces is always the finishing work. It's like a labor of love. I do 3 sandings of a mask. I don't just do one sanding. I do the rough sanding, and then I do the next sanding that's more finer with finer paper. And then the third final sand, I wet the entire mask and I resand it again with a really well-used piece of sandpaper. So it gives it like a silky feeling when you touch that piece. That's how fussy I am about my art, because it's like my artwork is who I am. So when you look at my artwork, it's that energy that you feel when you look at it. That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you so much, Dale. That was such an interesting talk, and it was so great to hear all of the many highlights of your career. It's been such a long career, but you've done so much in that time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not done yet.
Yeah, exactly. You got more stuff coming up. There was one question in the chat here. So somebody asked, do you have any advice you would give to new Indigenous artists?
Yes. Thing is like, especially when you're learning, like I was self-taught with jewelry. I basically taught myself how to do jewelry. And I did take the basic course at the Vancouver vocational school just to learn how to work with the metal, but the actual engraving and stuff I taught myself. But it's like when you're first learning, it seems like if things seem like you can't do it or it's too hard to do, you just have to remember it to challenge yourself. Because once you look at something other than as a problem, if you start to look at it as a challenge, it completely changes your whole way of thinking about whatever it may be. It doesn't even have to be about art, it can be about life. If you look at it as a challenge, not a problem, then hey, there's a way to deal with it. And that's what my mom taught me. Anything you want to do, you do it yourself. Don't depend on other people, because it's not going to get done. You have to do it yourself. Do the work. and be fussy about your finishing work, because that's where, you know, the best parts come out is with the finishing.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I agree with that.
Mhm.
Somebody else, there was another question here. Are you finding more women carvers coming onto the scene?
Yeah. I've met a few from the Frida Deasing School. There's a lot of young women and older women and middle-aged women that are learning how to carve there. And I just think it's amazing. I don't know if I explained this to you beforehand, but Ellen Neal was the first woman carver, carved totem poles, masks. Frida Deasing is the second generation of women carvers, carves totem poles. Myself and Doreen Jensen, we are the third generation of women carvers, totem pole carvers. And all the women that are out and doing their work, like in Vancouver area or whatever, are like the fourth and fifth generation women carvers. And now there's so many younger women artists that are coming out. Their work is like mind blowing. It's like, wow, it's evolving like tenfold now. Like the work that comes out with some of them from the Frida Deasing School is unbelievable, just unbelievable, and so wonderful to see. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't seem like there's any other questions right now, but thank you again, Dale, for being here with us today. It was, again, so great to hear you speak about your career and all of your different opportunities. And I know you've got a couple of projects coming up, so that'll be great. And thank
Yeah,
you for.
and I would like to thank the Bill Reed Gallery for asking me to do this talk. I was really looking forward to it, and I know it took me a while to get to be able to do it, but yeah, I feel very happy and very grateful towards you guys.
So Dale, did you want to actually speak a little bit, just very quickly, about the next show you have coming up, if you're able to?
Oh yes, I just got asked to be in the show. It's titled Master Women Carvers of the Northwest Coast Arts. So it's quite an honor to be asked to be part of this. And it's in the year 2024, which means I only have like over a year to get some pieces together. But what they're doing for the show is they are getting a hold of older pieces that I've done. So I sent them 18 pictures of 18 different pieces that I carved. And they're going to be getting a hold of the people the galleries that sold it, or the people that bought them privately or whatever, and ask them if they could lend the piece to the museum for this show. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah,
My journey goes on.
Do you know how many women will be included?
Oh, well, there's Ellen Neal, Frida Deasing's work, myself, and Doreen Jensen. And I'm not sure what other women are going to be in. They haven't quite decided yet. So, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be definitely something to look forward to.
Yeah, sure is.
All right, well, I guess we will wrap up. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today and hearing Dale speak. If you're interested in our programming, we are going to have a couple of things coming up in April. So you can sign up for our e-newsletter and get updated on all of our upcoming events. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we'll see you sometime soon. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.